What do you think about first when it comes to this second base situation and how it can play out?
Well, I think the first thing you think of is the big three. It was the big four with Teal no longer here because of the Crochet trade. You think of the big three, and can one of those or two of those players emerge through spring training and get off to a hot start? And here we go. We have one of those players that can do that. And Kristian Campbell's name is written all over that. He's certainly not the prototypical sure thing type of star. He's worked really hard. He's had, swing issues and everything else, but he's just emerged as a guy that can hit the baseball and seemingly climbing up every single level and doing a good job. So can he take that into spring training, and can he earn that second base position? Because let's face it, I mean, Vaughn Grissom came here in exchange for Chris Sale, but had, a really tough year with so many different things happening that set him back. So coming in that Grissom's going to get a shot, right? So that's the thing. And he just needs to stay healthy. And if he can do that, I'm sure Alex Cora has said this to him, Craig Breslow, you have an opportunity to win the second base job. Now, Kristian Campbell is going to be one of those guys along with Roman Anthony that they just, Alex Cora is going to give a ton of at-bats to in spring training. If he just continues to answer at-bat after at-bat, you bring the possibility of, do we maybe give him the second base job coming out of camp? There's your excitement, right? Wow, they have another chance to see one of these prospects come through here and get the job done. So, yeah, that second base position is going to be huge when it comes to the battle that takes place there and and who emerges as Alex Cora's starting second baseman. And the other factor would be, and I know we talked ad nauseum about this, but could Bregman step in and could they sign him to a deal in spring training? So there's second base position is the base position to watch. There's no question about that. And then you kind of move over in my mind a little bit too. And let's just see a nice, healthy Trevor Story get through camp and just be ready to go and look good. It would go a long way in helping this Red Sox team. But again, back to second, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, the Trevor Story part. I mean, it would be very nice to get a full season, or at least close to a full season, of him being healthy, because I think he could really shape this infield defense in a way where not only they become average, but possibly above average overall because of just how good he is at shortstop. I think it's so interesting, Dan, that Vaughn Grissom is now seen as the elder statesman of this battle, right? Because he's so young, 24 years old, yet at the same time, you have this young prospect coming up right behind him. And it is a good problem, I think, for the Red Sox to have as the backdrop to, if they don't get Alex Bregman, you still have these promising players that can come up and ultimately deliver for you. But I think
Joe, you saw a lot of Campbell. What do you think? Does he have that ability to come in and earn a spot?
I definitely think so. It was such a meteoric rise last year, Dan, but really at no point did he look overmatched at any of the levels that he's at. Now, I think it's interesting when you read what talent evaluators say. I think, one, they're all sort of starstruck in the sense of they're so impressed by the Red Sox and the developmental job that they've done with this fourth-round pick out of Georgia Tech who didn't hit for much power. And then they change his swing, and all of a sudden his teammates are calling him Barry Bonds because of all the home runs that he's hitting, which is really cool. And it's a testament to this Red Sox front off, or the minor league staff, and just the player development in general. But to me, the question is, do they want to commit to Vaughn Grissom? And you hit on the fact that they traded Chris Sale for him. I guess you've covered this game for a long time. How much of I don't want to say stubbornness, but I think that might be the word here. Like, how much does the fact that Chris Sale went to the Braves and won a Cy Young play into the decision-making you think that they'll have going into the season of, hey, we traded a guy that had a career year for as part of this trade. Do we want to still see what's there, even if Kristian Campbell outperforms them in spring training?
Well, and that's the question. And that, to me, is up to Alex Cora. I think Cora will get his way on this, right? Don't you? Craig Breslow can say, hey, we traded Chris Sale and we got back this guy. You got to give him a shot. I don't think there's any question going into spring training that he'll have that clear shot. But if a guy like Campbell just doesn't go away, even if they started the season with Grissom as your guy and give him a chance, I just think it's hard, because to either you put Campbell at AAA or you start him, right? Because you don't want him sitting on the bench coming out of spring training. You want him to have the ability to go after it and go get it. And if he's that dynamic of a player, and the other thing too is, Joe, you see it in all sports, is that if somebody's clearly better than somebody else, they're going to get a chance. And it's not like you're paying Vaughn Grissom this. You didn't bring him here for sale and then say, we're going to sign you to a 5-year, $100 million deal.
That's a good point.
Right? It's like, okay, he gets a shot, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So I think that would be the opportunity where a guy like Kristian Campbell could step in too. If he's good right from the get-go, as Roger Clemens used to say, get-go, I think that they'll easily say, go after it, go get it, and let's see how you do, right? Because that could be dynamic for the whole lineup. That could change everything. If he gets off to a torrid start, the tough part is a guy can hit 500 in spring training and then get out in April and go 1 for 31. That's the hard part. But if he got it and carry that into the regular season, that just changes the dynamic of your lineup in so many ways, where Alex can use him and everything else too. So I think they'll both be given a good, fair shot. And I know Alex likes Hamilton too for his speed and everything else. So they've got some guys that they'll work with and go from there. But I think the other part too, Joe, is I think Alex Cora feels, I think he would love Bregman, but I also think that he feels comfortable with this team. Like I feel like he has major league players that he said, if I have major league players, we can win. And I think he has that. And even like that Campbell Grissom shot, it's not like, you are taking a chance on a young kid, but a highly touted young kid versus a guy that's kind of, if he can stay healthy, could be that guy too. So I think it'll be fun to watch that.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And I think that last point is really important, because we talk about the fan experience and what they're hoping to see out of this group. And if they don't get Bregman, the disappointment that'll come with that. At the same time, they're so excited to see these prospects. They've been waiting to see them, and especially coming off the year that they had. And Campbell specifically, because he wasn't Kyle Till, he wasn't Roman Anthony, he wasn't Marcelo Meyer. He jumped into that group because of just how well he performed. So that'll be really exciting to see.
And I think it's kind of cool too, the upcoming Netflix documentary, there's talk of the tough decisions that they had to make in spring training. Then they let them shoot all that stuff. So you can only imagine the dynamic of the conversations with Craig Breslow and with Alex Cora and with the entire staff, if Kristian Campbell has a lights-out spring training, if Vaughn Grissom has a lights-out spring training, if Marcelo Meyer has this ridiculous spring training, Anthony, like how tempted are you to start these guys out with the big league club? Meyer might be a little different because I don't know if he's had that seasoning because of his injuries and everything else. But if Anthony or Campbell lights it up in spring training, the conversations between Breslow, ownership, and Cora are going to be fascinating, right? As to what you do with these kids. And I think that's kind of a cool dynamic that's going to play out as we go about spring training too. So it's going to be fun to watch it unfold.